Isaac Newton was born on January 4, 1643, in the small village of Woolsthorpe, Lincolnshire, England, according to the Gregorian calendar, which corresponds to December 25, 1642, in the old Julian calendar used in England at the time. His birth was premature, and he was so small and frail that his mother, Hannah Icecoff Newton, reportedly said he could have fit inside a quart mug. His father, also named Isaac Newton, had died 3 months before his birth, leaving him fatherless from the start. When Newton was 3 years old, his mother remarried a clergyman named Barnabas Smith and moved away, leaving young Isaac in the care of his maternal grandmother, a separation that deeply affected him for the rest of his life, instilling a sense of isolation and self-reliance. Newton attended the King's School in Grantham, where he lodged with an apothecary family, sparking his interest in chemistry and mechanical devices. Early on, he showed skill in crafting sundials, models, and simple machines. In 1661, he was admitted to Trinity College, Cambridge, where the curriculum was still heavily based on Aristotle's philosophy, but Newton immersed himself in newer works by Descartes, Galileo, and Kepler. By the time the plague of 1665 forced the university to close, Newton had already begun developing his revolutionary ideas, returning to Woolsthorpe for what is now famously called his Annus Mirabilis, or Year of Wonders.
Newton worked in solitude on the principles of calculus, the nature of light and color, and the laws of motion and universal gravitation. The popular tale of the falling apple, while embellished over time, reflects a real moment of inspiration that led him to consider why objects fall toward Earth and whether the same force could extend to the moon and planets. In 1667, Newton returned to Cambridge and was elected a Fellow of Trinity College, later becoming Lucasian Professor of Mathematics.
In 1669, he published groundbreaking work on optics, demonstrating that white light is composed of different colors, which he proved through prism experiments. His invention of the reflecting telescope in 1668 solved chromatic aberration issues in refracting telescopes and brought him recognition by the Royal Society. In the 1670s, he engaged in heated debates with Robert Hooke over the nature of light and color, a conflict that revealed Newton's sensitivity to criticism and his preference Naturalis Principia Mathematica, 1687, known simply as the Principia, laid down the 3 laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation, uniting terrestrial and celestial mechanics under one framework. This work, published with the support of astronomer Edmund Halley, transformed the scientific world and established Newton as one of the greatest minds in history. Beyond physics, Newton made profound contributions to mathematics, inventing what he called the method of fluxions, though priority disputes with German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz created lasting controversy. In his later life, Newton shifted from academia to public service, becoming warden and then Master of the Royal Mint, where he took an active role in reforming England's coinage and pursuing counterfeiters with zeal. He was knighted by Queen Anne in 1705, one of the few scientists ever to receive such an honor. Newton also delved into theology and alchemy, leaving behind extensive unpublished writings that revealed his unorthodox religious beliefs and intense interest in biblical prophecy and hidden truths of nature. He never married, and his personal life remained solitary, though he maintained close relationships with a few friends and protégés. Newton lived to the age of 84, passing away on March 31, 1727, in London. He was buried in Westminster Abbey with full honours, a testament to his towering status in science and society. His legacy endures, not only in laws that bear his name, but in the very framework of modern science, inspiring generations of physicists, mathematicians and thinkers. Beyond the monumental achievements for which he is most celebrated, Newton's intellectual reach extended into realms that often remain hidden from casual accounts of his life. His scientific triumphs did not emerge in a vacuum. They were the product of an age in which Europe was transitioning from Renaissance curiosity to Enlightenment empiricism, and, with his relentless analytical mind, became both a symbol and a driver of that shift. He spent countless hours in solitary study, often working late into the night by candlelight, immersed in calculations, chemical experiments or theological manuscripts. His fascination with alchemy, though dismissed by later generations as pseudoscience, was for Newton a vital component of his search for the underlying principles of nature. He believed that hidden correspondences linked the physical and virtual and spiritual worlds, and that ancient wisdom encoded in symbolic texts might reveal the divine architecture of the universe. His theological inquiries were equally intense. Rejecting the doctrine of the Trinity, he risked accusations of heresy, though he kept many of his religious convictions private to avoid public scandal. Newton's personality was a complex blend of fierce independence, guarded secrecy, and unyielding self-confidence. He was capable of warm loyalty to a small circle of trusted allies, yet could be implacably unforgiving toward those he perceived as rivals or detractors, such as Robert Hooke or Leibniz. Even in the Royal Mint, his meticulous approach and refusal to tolerate corruption reflected the same precision and moral certainty that marked his scientific work. In his final decades, Newton enjoyed immense prestige, presiding over the Royal Society and acting revered elder statesman of science, yet he remained deeply private, preferring controlled warablaktishanta, revered aitakta, watandapid, tatpiktabiwan. Obus para pabadian, you could be situavad watandapid whether sonishenstomos, tatpiktomos, Pictibewad, decom controlled warafectidi sponit, a preferpictidi sponited, taptauv, thorizo, tapistonat, kabak and popatonat, tradractoban pictis, not what could you call him the pabitis tragistornum, morgrabot, yiches tarkedid or pipin or cooled or pipin, and the mentioned not evocant porgestrum soldimortiatis pictidis pictidin asterin, controlled social encounters to public display. He meticulously curated his public image, allowing the world to see the dignified, rational philosopher while concealing the more mystical, speculative, and sometimes obsessive side of his mind. His death in 1727 was met with unprecedented honor for a man of science, attended by state officials, intellectual luminaries, and members of the aristocracy. His funeral procession through London underscored a cultural transformation in which the